Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with Point Firearms, and today I'm going to be making a homemade airbrush or spray can spray booth using nothing more than junk I've got laying around in my shop, and I'm going to be recycling some leftover materials and some other stuff and make a decent little spray booth. I've got a couple of customers right now who are wanting some duracoating done, and while I've done duracoating before, I've never had a spray booth. I've always just done it, hung it up by a coat hanger or something in the garage and gone at it, but it seems like I always get overspray all over everything, and it would be nice to have a nice controlled environment to be able to do the duracoating in, and to keep everything nice and neat and clean. So what I've got here is I've got a few pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, some straps left over from the pontoon boat project. I've got a couple of galvanized pieces of galvanized sheeting for ductwork. These are actually the signs from my old company. Trailer, so I'm going to be utilizing those. I've held on to those for a while, so about time we put them to good use. I've got a bucket here, an old fan that still works really good. I think that was like $8 at Walmart, but I've had it for years. And then I've got this old set of job site lights. Now I've got another set of these job site lights in the basement, in the shop in the basement, that I use, but these have been hanging out here on the wall in the garage for a while. They don't really get any use. As a matter of fact, the light bulbs are blown in them, so I'm going to have to get some new light bulbs, but I'm still going to use the fixtures, and I can get a light bulb later. I'm thinking I'm probably going to make it about 36 inches wide. I can't imagine that I'd have anything bigger than that I would need more than 36 inches. I'm going to make just the booth and make it to where I can set it on a table or something. 36 inches wide, I think maybe 24 inches tall, and probably about maybe 18 inches deep, maybe a little bit deeper than that, but that's what I'm thinking right now. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to record the whole thing. I'll probably just bring you guys on because I don't have a plan. You guys know how I work. I don't ever have plans. I just kind of go with it. So I'm going to get started. I've got kind of a concept in my mind. I'll get started and I'll bring you guys back on as I go. Alright guys, so it's been about 45 minutes, and I managed to throw together this frame. Just waiting on the glue to dry now. Of course, I've got it either stapled with wood staples or screwed. I used a combination of just straight sheetrock screws that I had laying around here in the shop. And then for our extensions here, for our angles, I used the pocket hole drill, Craig jig, and then glued everything together. So I'm just allowing that glue to set up right now a little bit before I start moving it around. But basically what I started with was this piece of plywood. It's just a sheet of 1/2 inch plywood. It was 36 inches long, and I ended up going 24 inches deep on it. So I got plenty of depth to be able to put stuff in here and have plenty of room to paint. Most of the stuff that I'm going to be using it for more than likely is for shotgun barrels, stuff like that, so plenty of space in there to do that. I don't know of many barrels that are over 26, 28 inches long, and this is 34 and a half inches wide inside to inside. So anyway guys, it's like I said, it's 36 inches wide, 24 inches deep. Here in the front I have an opening of 23 inches. So I think that'll be more than enough for what I need it for. Now, like I said, I'm just waiting on the glue to dry right now. So once the glue dries, we'll go ahead and cut some slits in the back and start working on our exhaust fan in the back and get our top piece put on. I'm going to use a piece of the galvanized sheeting that I showed you for the top, and the other piece of galvanized sheeting I'm going to trim up and lay for a floor inside of for a work surface inside of the actual spray booth. So anyway, it won't absorb the paint as bad as the wood will, and plus it'll give us some good light reflection when our lighting is in there, so you can see up underneath. It won't cast as much of a shadow. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and trim that up, get it installed, and maybe by then the glue will be dry enough that we can start working on the back. So be back in just a few minutes. Alright guys, so the glue is set up now, and I'm working on installing the exhaust fan on the back right now. And like I showed you before, I've got this little fan here that I picked up from Walmart a few years ago for $8 or $9, and turns out that it's going to work perfect, I think, for what I need. It's going to have should have plenty of airflow. It's a pretty stout little fan. The metal blades, all the components are good in it. It should be a pretty stout little fan for what we're going to use it for. Now, I've also utilized this bucket as sort of an exhaust fan port or housing, so to speak. And what I've done is I took and set it on the back of my my spray booth, just like this. I drew a circle around it to kind of give me an idea where it's going to be, and then I went ahead and cut out some slits in the bottom of it, and that's going to be our exhaust pulling through. And then what I did was I laid it back on here and kind of halfway lined it up and marked on the board where the slits were, and then I just mirrored them on the back of this board here. Now, something else that I did was this fan actually had a stand on it, little metal stand, and right here on the side is where it hooked to. There's two little screw holes here, and there's two little rubber grommets there that keep it from vibrating. So what I did was I removed the stand, kept the screws, and left the grommets on here. And then I put the fan down inside the bucket, exhaust or the suction side facing down toward our vents, and then I marked and drilled some holes so that we can run the screws through here. Now what I also did was down in the bottom I drilled another hole for the pigtail to run out and cut the end off of the cord, pigtail off the cord, and I'll wire that up to a switch. Now this is where I have to give you guys a little disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am a licensed electrician. I've been doing electrical work for a long time, so I know the dangers of messing with electrical work. If you don't have any idea, then you need to consult your local electrician, alright? And make sure that you do this safely if you decide to do this. If you know how to do electrical work, then by all means have at it. But like I said, just a little disclaimer, I'm not responsible if you get electrocuted. So anyway, we'll install the fan into the bucket once we mount the bucket to the back of our spray booth here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some self-tapping screws with rubber washers on them for metal roofing, and install them just like that. Now obviously our next step is to put our metal top on. So I'm just using some little short self-tappers, and I'll go ahead and get that installed. Oh, all right, so I've got my top on, I've got my metal bottom in here. My exhaust fan's installed, all the framework's done. Now the only thing that's left is the electrical work. Now I had made mention at the beginning that I had some old shop lights that I was going to use, but frankly I think those things are going to be way too bright for this, and plus they're so big that I don't want them to take up a lot of space. So I've got this shop light here that I don't know, I'm pretty sure I didn't pay anything for it. I don't know where I got it at, but I probably wouldn't buy something cheap like this. But anyway, this will work with the reflectiveness of the galvanized on the top and the galvanized on the bottom. This should be more than enough light for inside our spray booth here. So I've got a couple of ideas as far as how I want to do this, but if I mount it up here, or if I mount it like this or whatever, that light's going to be right in my eyes. It's going to defeat the purpose. So I think what I've decided to do is take and put some of these little eye hooks in this frame piece across the top here, and I'll put 3 of them, one over here, one in the center, and one over here, and then I'll just leave enough slack on the cord that I can actually hook it. I can hook it over here, I can hook it in the center if I need to, or I can hook it over here. And I'll have to move it out of the way, but I think it'll be okay. It should work pretty good. Now I could probably get like a fluorescent light fixture or something and put in here, and I might still do that, I don't know yet. But my goal was to build this thing out of stuff that I had laying around the shop and not have to buy anything. And so far I haven't had to buy anything, so I think I'll go with this just to save some money and keep from having to buy something else. So I'm going to get started on the electrical, and also what I'm going to go ahead and do is across the back there, I'm going to go ahead and put a bead of caulk in there just to seal it up real nice, to keep any of the fumes from escaping anywhere other than the exhaust port in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and caulk it up, get cracking on the electrical work, and then I'll be back with you guys. Alright guys, so we're all finished up now. I got all the framework done, got everything put together, got our top on, our bottom in, got our light installed. I'm going to put a switch in here, a flip switch, on-off switch, but I thought I had one in some stuff, but I guess I'm out of switches. So I went ahead and put the box, and I just put a solid cover over it for right now to keep it safe. I found this like a storage hook, garage storage hook. I put that on the side so you can roll up the excess cord and hang it there. The fan is installed, everything's good to go, so let's get it plugged up and test it out. Alright, so it's on, and I don't know if you can hear it or not, but our fan is going. Oh. It's got some pretty good suction there. And it's not great, but it's pretty good. Our light works. Let's see, take some spray paint, spray some fumes in here and see if it sucks it out. Oh yeah. Right out the back. That's awesome. I'm going to bring you guys up a little bit closer. Hopefully we can get you in the picture here with it. Let's see if we can get the fumes in here. Alright, I'm back here at the front of the booth. And it sucks it right out the back. even if I spray down like this over to the side, sucks it right out the back. That's awesome. So I think this is going to work just fine for a spray booth. I can adjust my light and take it off here and move it over if I need to. I can lay it down, you know, whatever I need to do for my light. So I'm happy with the little regular shop light there. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys, on the do-it-yourself spray booth. You guys know how I roll. You know, I like to keep it real. I like to keep it, you know, budget friendly. I've got some jobs, some gunsmithing jobs coming up. As a matter of fact, there's some of the guns that I've talked about in other videos that are sitting on the rack waiting for my attention. And so a couple of them are going to get Duracoat jobs, and I've done Duracoat before just in the garage here, hung it up from coat hangers or whatever, and it doesn't work out good. I mean, it does, it turned out fine, but it's just such a hassle, and you have to shut the garage door, back the cars out, shut the garage doors, keep from getting overspray on them and everything else, and it's just a pain. So I looked at some hobby-sized spray booths online, and the majority of them ran anywhere from $150 to $450. My goal was to build this one without spending any money, just using stuff that I had here in the shop already. And so the only thing I'm going to have to buy is a 49-cent single pole light switch. So I'm happy with that, 50 cents for a nice functional spray booth. I've also got some white spray paint over here. I may spray paint the inside of it white just to brighten it up a little bit more. Granted, you know, a spray booth, you're going to have to constantly repaint it, but I think that'll be nice to get it painted white and make it a little bit brighter in there. But anyway, guys, like I said, cost 49 cents for the switch. Other than that, I had everything here at the shop. I would say if you did have to buy everything, if you didn't have the materials already, you're probably looking at less than $30, I'd say. So, I mean, it's just as functional as the other ones. You could even put a filter on the back if you wanted to filter out some of the overspray. Like I said, I'm happy with it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video on how to make it. So go ahead and leave your comments and questions. Please rate the video. It's always appreciated. And if you're interested in following me with prepping, gunsmithing, projects, how-tos, whatever, go ahead and subscribe. That's always appreciated. So anyway, guys, until next time, get out there, shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. Thanks for watching.